Hi, Megan. We will be kicking off shortly. So, can I just get you to pop a note in the chat box? Let me know where you're zooming in from and that you can hear me loud and clear. G'day, Sarah. We've got Jenny as well. Let me promote Jenny too. And Jenny should be coming on screen momentarily. Oh, look at these early people that turn up. Awesome. Hey, Jenny. You're muted.
There we go. How are you?
I'm very well. We have Sarah and Megan in the attendees, so we've got a couple of minutes to get our logistics sorted before everyone. So Sarah and Megan get to see behind the scenes of a well-oiled machine. Excellent. And you're moving, so hence the.
Yeah, sorry, it's a little bit chaotic behind me. I've tried to block that out as much as I can, but yeah.
You can hit your blur background if you want to.
Oh, that would require some expertise. Hang on.
So go down to your little camera.
Yep.
Stop where it says stop video, little arrow up beside it.
Yep.
And then go to
blur.
Yep. There you go. Blur.
Oh, look at that.
So I love it when a plan comes together.
Lucky we've got you here, Trace.
Well, the digital guide. I've got to have something going for me. Hello, Bronwyn. Hello, Nicole. As we just have a bit of banter and get our screens blurred and things working, if you'd just like to pop a little note in the chat box, just let me know where you're zooming in from, how much you're using LinkedIn. I'd love to know, and that you can hear us, or else you'll be going, I have no idea what she's just asked me to do. And if you're hearing random noises, I'm topping my water up. So
Tracy, should we have our devices ready with LinkedIn to maybe, will you give us some red hot tips and hints that we can put in straight away?
You never know, you're like in a big city. It is being recorded, so you will get a copy of the recording. So you'll call whether you actually want to play along at home at the same time or whether you just want to take it all in and then go back. I find I have fat fingers, so I find it easier to make adjustments to my LinkedIn stuff on the computer where I can type properly. There is a couple of things that we'll talk about, though, that you can only do via the mobile. So like adding a little video to your headshot and things like that. So we will have a crack as we go. And if you want to do something along the way, you can do that. We do have a couple of minutes before 1 o'clock. So to be fair on everyone that registered, we won't actually kick off before 1. So you have plenty of time to go and grab yourself a water, a juice, a gin. There's no judgment. It's a judgment-free zone. And we will kick off shortly. No one's popping anything in the chat, so I'm going to assume that you all like the concept of LinkedIn, but you're not necessarily using it. And look, if it's only a small crowd, Megan's just put her hand up. So, Megan, I'm going to hit allow to talk, and you should have.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hey, hello. I sure can.
Hi. Yeah, good. I just wanted to let you know that the chat's disabled and I just don't have any camera or anything happening on my end. So it must be on your end.
Disabled. Boo that. Thank you. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click through everyone and say that you can all talk, but then just pop yourself on mute. And if you've got a question, you can come off mute as we're going along.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Let me see why the chat's disabled at the same time. G'day, Jordan. Hello, Paul. We've got Maddie as well. How you doing? And we've got Julie's just joined us as well. Bridget's just joined us. Love it. Susan Bolt, how you doing? Lovely to see everyone. Well, like a list of names. Can't actually see everyone, but that's okay. All right. 1 minute to go. Hey, what do you reckon, Jenny? Should I give everyone camera view so we can actually see people and we can interact?
Yeah, I'd love that.
Let's make everyone a panelist. Let's be a rebel. All right. Promote to panelists. It's one of the reasons why I like the workshops instead of the webinars, because webinars, you don't get that level of interaction, but you never know how many people are going to register. So promote to panelists. You'll all be getting a little note to say that you're coming through as panelists. So all that means is that your screen will be able to come on if you want to use your video. It's always nice to see people. And then you'll probably rejoin as a panelist. So all that means is we'll be able to see you, and then you'll be able to jump off mute much easier and have a chat along the way. Here we go. G'day, Paul. Got some faces popping up on the screen now, which is lovely. Megan. Promote to panelist. Nicole Horton, there's a name I haven't seen in a while. How are you doing? Are we going to have a shy crowd? Sarah, you're not going to be shy on me, are you?
I don't know what that means. All right, I think I've promoted everyone. If you don't hit accept, you'll stay in the attendees. If you hit accept, you'll go out and come back in as a panelist. So Maddie's declined, that's okay. And if you don't want to, that's perfectly okay. I've given everybody the ability to talk if you want to. So even as an attendee, you can come off mute and chat at any time. Excellent. All right, Bridget's declined, perfect. And that should mean that Bronwyn just said I best put clothes on then. I love your work, Bronwyn. Also means that if you come back in as panelists, that the chat will be enabled. So if you'd rather chat instead of jumping off mute, then that's okay. Otherwise, if you are an attendee, as I said, you can just Maddie, you can talk, mate. You can just I see you put your hand up, but you can unmute yourself and talk away.
I'm so sorry for interrupting. I was so excited to join, but I missed it. I just stepped out to make a cup of tea, and now I've missed my opportunity to show this mug off to your audience.
Oh, no.
Not that anyone's missing anything, but can I have
I've just hit promote to panelist again. There we are. All right, Maddie's coming back in as a panelist. She couldn't resist the opportunity. Excellent. All right. Well, it's just gone 1 o'clock. So in the interest of time, we're going to kick off. Before I start talking about the whole LinkedIn thing, I'd just like to welcome Jenny. Jenny is the director of RDA DDSW, Darling Downs Southwest. Jenny, can I throw to you to do a little hello?
Yeah. Thanks, Tracy. As Tracy said, my name's Jennifer Ricks, the interim director for Regional Development Australia for the Darling Downs and Southwest region. We're a network of RDAs across, or part of a network of RDAs across all of Australia. I'd just like to introduce Tracy and also the importance of this webinar and kind of digital connectivity and literacy in our regions. With COVID and the way and the pace of change, disruptions and uncertainty have really become the norm, and it's really reinforced the importance of the digital world to stay in touch, to innovate, to work remotely and bridge that tyranny of distance between regional and metropolitan areas. The digital world and connectivity is really critical to investment, to employment attraction, delivering the economic cornerstones and livability for our region. Regionalisation is a topic and a bit of a flavour of the year, I think, post-COVID. Lots of people moving to the regions, and the digital divide, literacy, infrastructure, things like that are really important for our regional communities to thrive and take advantage of that influx. So with this webinar, we're aiming for to advance the Darling Downs and Southwest Queensland region and all the other regions listening across Australia ahead of the digital curve. You guys are all in businesses. This has really been designed for small, medium-sized business because we know how important it is for the day-to-day operations of our businesses, whether that's everything from cash registers, EFTPOS machines, all the way through to selling online, selling of services and products to the world. So we're really passionate about and really advocating strongly for improved connectivity across our regions to allow the people living in our regions to work, be educated, have those social interactions, and have the entertainment, even streaming services and the like, that are so important. So sometimes in our low population areas, they are reliant on some of the suboptimal digital options. So we're really keen to champion getting new investment and retaining current industry by improving that connectivity and enablement. So hence the webinar today. We've got a real treat for you in terms of Tracy. She's become a bit of a feature on Channel 7 in helping Koshi with his technology. She's a technology commentator on the Business Builders TV show. And she's also written this fabulous book, if you can see that. It's kind of The End of Technophobia, which has been a winner of the Australian Business Book of the Year in 2021, and the Best Technology Book. So she really knows her stuff. She's approved small business advisor to the federal government, has run hundreds of workshops and webinars on a wide range of topics, and been judging panels for tech industry awards and the like. But most importantly, Tracy is a local. She is a living, breathing example of working remotely and exporting world-class expertise and knowledge to the world, both nationally and internationally. So we're really, really lucky to have her in the Darling Downs Southwest region. So thanks, Tracy, and over to you.
Yeah, excellent. And I almost started talking before I unmuted myself because that's what tech experts do, right? Hey, thanks so much for joining us today, folks. A few people have just popped in the room, so I want to acknowledge Sam, Lynn, Kristen, Kate, Jordan, Danielle, and Bridget. Thank you all and everyone who have switched their video cameras on. I have unmuted everybody or given everybody the ability to talk. It's a new skill that I'm working on. So if you want to jump in and ask questions along the way, I really like these sessions to be as interactive and to make sure that you're getting what you need. So at any time, feel free to jump in. How does that work for that? What does that look like? I will make sure that I'm checking in and we've got time for questions along the way. You'll be very happy to know this is not slide decks. I'm actually going to show you my profile and talk you through everything I've done inside my profile and how that looks and interacts from a live version rather than screenshot. So at any time, pull me up and go, I'm not sure what that means or what does that look like. Before I do share my screen, I just do want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands on which we meet, now wherever that is for you, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. So I recognise myself as Bundjalung country, which is Northern Rivers of New South Wales, and I'm now obviously been living in the Darling Downs range. So respects to those first inhabitants, and sovereignty was never ceded. So there we go.
All right. Oh, Sarah's here as well. Now, Jenny, I have made you co-host. So if you click on the little participants, you should get a panel up down the side of your screen. If you notice anyone else that joins and doesn't have a little microphone, if you click on them, you'll be able to give them the ability to talk. All right, let us go. Okay, so interesting for me, who is currently using LinkedIn? And how well do you think you're using it? So Jordan has raised their hand already. Jordan, do you want to kick off with that one? Oh, or raising it as in you're using it. I'm going to guess that's what that could mean as well. So LinkedIn, there's 2 people that join LinkedIn every minute. So you can imagine it is still a growing profile. It is still probably the most popular platform now for business owners. And to me, I don't care whether you're a B2C or B2B, whether you're a government agency or whether you're a business owner. LinkedIn has so many abilities and so many ways that we can improve our reach, our sales, and our ability to network across regions. So by far, it is my favorite social media platform. And really, I just want to kind of share with you today what people are looking for and how to really maximize your time when you're on LinkedIn. Because on average, a LinkedIn user, a heavy user, or someone who classifies themselves as a user of LinkedIn will spend on average around 15 minutes every time they log into LinkedIn. So they're spending a long time on the platform, and typically they will look at 3 pages. So that might be a blog, a couple of profiles. It could be they go and watch a video. But it's one of the reasons why Google classify LinkedIn to be a perfect website. So on a Google rankings, LinkedIn has 100% score. Now, what that means for Google is it means that they have excellent visibility, as in a lot of people are visiting the platform. There's a lot of people spending a lot of time on the platform. So as I just said, about 15 minutes, and they're visiting a lot of pages. So Google will give LinkedIn a really good push organically. So what that means for you as a business owner or as someone who is a user of LinkedIn, quite often if you Google your name, the first thing that's likely to show up for you organically is your LinkedIn profile, okay? And that's because of the SEO rankings and the push that Google give LinkedIn. So there's a few ways and a few tips and tricks that we can use when we're setting up our profile or when we're redesigning our profile that will help maximize our ability to be seen. So I'm going to run through what they are kind of from top to bottom here. And the first thing is your URL. So if you can see mine, and if we're not connected, please drop me a connection request and say g'day. I'm going to talk you through what best practice of that is as we go along the way. But you'll see in my profile, it's www.linkedin.com/in and /my name, Tracy Sheen. So one of the first things that heavy users or people who like the platform will look at is, have you personalized your LinkedIn URL? Really easy way to do that is if you can see my little icon at the top here, directly underneath it, it has edit public profile and URL. If you click on that, it's going to open up here and it'll say edit your custom URL. Now you can just click on that little pencil and change that back half of your name. So that could become Jenny Ricks, RDA, DDSW. It could be Sarah, State Dev, Ipswich. It could be whatever you want that to be. So that would be the first thing that I would suggest you do today, is to update and make sure that you claim that personal URL. The next thing we look for is a cover photo. Now, this is prime real estate. So you want to make sure that you are showcasing whatever it is about your business or your personal profile that you want people to know. Now, this is something that I will swap out quite regularly. It doesn't have to be static. So all I use is Canva. And if I jump into Canva, even the free account, you can type in LinkedIn cover photo and it will give you the dimensions preset and you can find something that suits you. Typically, I would say make sure, even though it's not a clickable link, you have a website or a point of contact, an email, a phone number,
some way that you want people to be able to reach out to you directly. And again, thinking through what your business does. So the Small Business Tech Club for me is one of the products that I offer, and it's something that I'm showcasing right now. So I want to highlight that as soon as people land on my page, they can see that I'm the founder of the Small Business Tech Club. It does have a link to go directly to the Tech Club page on there. So that's the first thing that we want to think about, is what does our cover photo reflect? Coming into Christmas and the end of the year, you might want to put up your open times. You know, if you're closing down over Christmas, you might want to have a banner there that says, have a happy new year, you know, closed between X and X. So again, if someone lands on your profile quickly, they've got that information at the drop of a hat. The next thing is you want to make sure that you've got a decent cover photo, profile picture. Please do not have a photo of you and your dog unless you're a vet. Don't have a photo of you and your hubby, or you and your wife, or you and your kids unless you're a marriage counselor or something like that. You know, keep the photo professional, and make sure where possible to keep to your branding colors. So if you look at mine, that color behind me is part of my branding. This was taken from the top 50 small business leaders last year. So I probably should be updating that right now. So that is something that is really important, to make sure that that's a clear headshot. In terms of visibility, people with a good quality or any kind of photo on there have 15 times more likelihood of being invited to connect and have their profile interacted with. So those two things immediately are going to increase your reach and ability to connect with people on LinkedIn. Again, you can create that on Canva if you need to, but just keep it nice and clean and on brand. Okay.
Any tips on that, Tracy?
Sorry?
For those that can't afford or their business won't pay for professional photo shoot, any tips on that?
Stand in front of a white wall, plain colour, really plain colour. You want to go from kind of shoulders, just below shoulders up. So not a full length image, and just keep it really clear. So just be aware of the lighting around you. So at the moment, Sarah, you've got a lot of light coming in behind you. So that would make your image quite dark. So just thinking about what the lighting is like. Try to avoid outdoor settings unless you know, you're a landscape gardener or something like that. If you're an office-based person, just up against a wall. If you've got a reception with the branding or the logo or anything, you could have it taken beside there.
Thanks for that.
If you're on your mobile, one of the things that you will notice, and this is one of the big differences between laptop, desktop, and the mobile version. And I'm just going to show you if you can see mine on the screen at the same time. If you look at some people's profile pictures on the mobile, and I'm just going to hold that up. Can you see I've actually started talking? So on the mobile, you can create I'm going to try and get it to force load there. You can create a little video, 30 seconds, and it just allows you to talk through, hey, it's Tracy here. I'm known as the digital guide, blah, 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 blah. The only way you can set that up is through your mobile. And all you do is you go into your profile, you click on that profile shot, and it will say upload a video, and you can just record it straight from your phone. Okay, nice way just to create that immediate relationship that you can build. Directly underneath there is your name. Now you'll see the little speaker beside you. If you have a name that is difficult to pronounce, you can use that to actually get the pronunciation right. In my instance, Tracy Sheen, there's not a lot you can stuff up around that. So what I've done is I've used that little snapshot to say, hi, Tracy Sheen, the digital guide, and a little bit of an intro again, because you get about 10, 15 seconds. So again, any way that you can set your profile apart, just don't think that you have to stick to exactly what the things are telling along the way. So I'm going to click in here so you can see where it is that you add and change all of these. And if at any time you want to jump in and kind of clarify or ask anything, please do so. So you'll see when you go into your edit, all you do is click on here and it will give you the audio recording that you've got there. So at any time you want to ditch it, you just hit the bin and you can re-record it. With your pronouns, you may notice in LinkedIn that these are becoming quite popular now. So typically beside Tracy, Sheen, if I was working in the LGBTQI space, for example, I might have she, her as my pronouns, or they, them, depending on how I identify. But again, you don't have to use that for pronouns. So in the area where we were for pronouns here, you can click on custom and then write your custom pronoun. So I use that to identify as my brand. So I'm known as Tracy Sheen, the digital guide. So for Sarah, and I'm picking on Sarah because I know her, Sarah might have Sarah Prest and then state development, SEQ. Jenny might have, Jennifer Ricks, Director RDA DDSW. So again, it's coming up in the headline. It's very clear what you want to be known for. Susan, Director, Pack and Send Toowoomba, whatever that looks like for you. Next line down, and this one is probably one of the most important things that you'll do on your LinkedIn profile, is your headline. You have 120 characters to work with. So that's characters, not letters, not words. So every, I, one character, space, two characters, H, third character, etc., 120 characters to work with. Now, this is where your keywords really kick in. If you know what your clients are searching for to find you, you want to make sure that you get those keywords into your headline. There's two ways you can write your headline. One is like I've done, which is a series of effectively keywords. So I help small business owners conquer digital overwhelm. Next thing, I'm the author of Australia's Business Book of the Year. Trainer, speaker, entrepreneurship facilitator. They're all words that I know my clients are searching for to find me. So that's one way you can write it. The other way you can write your profile is to tell a little story. So I help small business owners over 40 overcome digital overwhelm and get the most out of technology and leverage technology in their business. I could write a little story around it. Whatever way you feel is best for you, they're your two options. Typically, I find the profiles that rank the best are the ones that use keywords. Okay, so get them in as much as you can. Now, those little stars that I have in between my keywords here, to get those, all I've done is open up a Google Doc or a Microsoft Word document, and I've typed all of this in and insert special character. So that's how when you see anyone's profile and they've broken it up with, stars or diamonds or anything like that, that's all they've done. You can't actually write it out like that in LinkedIn. So I always write my profile out in Google Docs. I work in Google, Microsoft Word, the same thing. And I insert my special characters, and then all I do is copy the whole thing and paste it across. The nice thing about doing that is anytime you want to update your profile, you've got a template that you can work off already in your Google Docs or Microsoft Word. Any questions about the headline? Is anyone feeling unsure about what or how they should set that up? No, perfect. Okay. Oh, Kate's raised a hand. So, Kate, do you want to?
Yeah, just Tracy, it's 220 characters now, not 120.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Perfect. And Kate is an expert at positioning people for job searches and finding a career that they're going to love. So if you're looking at using LinkedIn as a job resume platform or as being an outreach, then Kate's certainly someone that can assist you with that. So thank you for Kate. Also another local.
Thank you.
So the next option that you have coming down the platform is, you'll see here I've got a bunch of hashtags. It says talks about tech tips, digital guide, etc., etc. That's because I've switched on what's called creator platform. Now you'll notice as we scroll through, and this is where we were to add our headline and change our photo, etc., etc. This is also where you add your information about, location, etc. You've got the opportunity now to add in things like websites and and turn on create a profile, which I'll show you in a second. Your website is the link that is going to appear at the top of your profile. Now, this is in beta and it is still being rolled out. So you will know if you have it when you log in to this section. You click on that little pencil at the top and you work through your pronouns, etc. If this has appeared, go ahead and add it. Now, again, that link, you can change that up as much as you want. So if you had a Linktree site, for example, which might have, you know, your Facebook profile and your Instagram and your website, et cetera, you might want to use that. For me, I want this to be a place where people can come and sign up for my free webinar. So that's the website that I'm promoting, and the link text will go along with it. So you'll see that that now sits directly here. So if I click, if someone lands on my profile, they can go, oh, top 10 tech tips, what's that? Click on it and it takes them straight to the page where they can register for that webinar. So you can take them wherever you want in terms of that. So that's a really nice addition that they've done recently. This little grey section is where we go. Oops, let me bring this into adding our services and things. Now, one of the things that LinkedIn has changed recently is that we could only add services and add skills in one area. They've now given us the ability to match skills with particular jobs, which you'll see further down the profile. But this is where you really highlight what it is that you want to be known for. So you can type this in and that can be pretty well, you know, anything. So if I put in networking, you know, it will come up with options there. If I type up business, right, we've got strategic planning, HR, etc. That will just add to your profile. And again, think of those in terms of keywords. So if somebody's searching for a conveyancer in Toowoomba or the Darling Downs, you would want to have, and you're a conveyancer, you would want to have conveyancing in there. Because again, if I'm on Google and I search, you know, conveyancer Toowoomba, it gives me another opportunity to utilize LinkedIn as an opportunity to pop in to people's profiles then. Okay, so let me make sure I'm going backwards now. Jump in. I can see people are raising their hands, but just unmute yourself and leap in.
Tracy, what if your services aren't listed there? You can't change them or add them?
Not in that section. So what industry are you in?
So if I want to link something to aged care, so it's got, you know, financial planning and consulting and so on, but it doesn't actually have anything about aged care.
Okay. So let's have a look. What section of aged care are you in?
It doesn't come up with anything at all.
That's so weird. Okay. So I would look at, are you in like financial planning for like helping people get into aged care facilities, or?
Yeah, so the financial side of aged care and Centrelink.
Right. So at this stage, I would say it's probably something around the financial planning, but that's really going to come in the next section that we talk about, which is starting to look at your summary and your about section. So that's where we would really differentiate yourself. The other area will be, of course, at the top in that initial headline. So really making sure, so yours might be, I help aging Australians navigate my ACAT, you know, in the lead up to aged care or something like that. Or I help adult children of aging parents navigate the healthcare system.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. All right, so that's where we put our services. The next bit down, this is where we add creator mode, and I'm going to show you what this looks like. It would be under the resource section for you. If you've switched creator mode on, you'll have it on. And if you haven't, then it won't be sitting there. Now, the reason you would switch creator mode on is it allows you to attach those 5 hashtags. And what that does, that's LinkedIn's way of saying when you post about something or you share content and you attach those hashtags, that's LinkedIn's way of saying we're going to promote you as a content creator around these particular topics. Excuse me, what we're seeing, and I follow some real LinkedIn gurus, not people that just love playing on the platform and understand, the basics of it. What we're seeing is that LinkedIn are actually organically pushing content that matches what we're saying we're going to do on creator mode. So typically, when you post a post on LinkedIn organically, so that means I'm not putting money towards it, I'm just sharing a post. In the first 5 or so minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, there's a little bot that comes through, and this is true of Facebook and Instagram as well. A little bot comes through and says, we're looking to make sure that we're not breaching any of the T's and C's of the platform. So there's no hate speech, there's no foul language, there's nothing there that's going to cause LinkedIn problems. Providing that's all okay, LinkedIn says, okay, let's push this out to our first level of content. Now, they're very sketchy with how big that range is, but what we've figured out, or what the boffins have figured out, is it's around about 5% of your audience. So if you've got 100 people that you're connected with on LinkedIn, about 5 people are going to see that content organically. After about 2 hours, the bot comes back again and takes a look at what you've posted, and it has a look to see how many people have commented on your post, how many people have shared it, how many people have given it a thumbs up. And if it hits a magic number, and it's around about 20 interactions on the post, so not a like, but an actual, hey, Sarah, that was a really thoughtful post. Great to catch up last week. Love to hear your thoughts on this, or, where someone actually interacts with you. If you have 20 of those, so Sarah responds, you respond to Sarah, that's 2 posts, so you can see 10 people interacting with it. Then LinkedIn goes, actually, this content is obviously something that your audience wants to see. Let's push it out a little further. And then it opens it up to the next layer of content, which is around about 20-25% of your audience, and it goes on from there. So what we're seeing now, over probably 24 to 48 hours, your post will actually get more engagement as the time goes on. And then after about 48 hours, it drops away again. So really, if you can be creating content that matches, it says I'm going to talk about hashtag small business or hashtag digital divide, then, or hashtag tech tips, and I've put a post out and I use that hashtag and my audience interacts with it, I've got a far better chance of that content reaching a bigger audience for me. Does that make sense? Awesome. Maddie's nodding. I'll take that as we're good to go. So if you're not someone who feels as though you're going to interact with the platform a lot, and by a lot, I mean probably, 3 times a week, maybe a little more, I probably wouldn't bother switching creator mode on. If you're someone who thinks like, actually, I need to be getting more involved with this platform and doing more with it, then it's definitely something I would look at switching on, and just monitoring what that looks like for you. You can go in at any time and change those hashtags around, so you're not restricted by using those over and over and over again. Just don't deviate too far from them. So if I'm talking about, tech tips and small business, and I suddenly start using the hashtag financial planning, that's going to detract from my profile as far as LinkedIn's concerned. All right. The next one down that does you a lot of favors is your featured posts. Now, you can attach any post that you have created and make it a featured post. So to do that, all you do is hit the plus, and you can actually add a post from there, or you can do it from where you've posted, and I'll show you that in a second. But these are just effectively your big hits, so the things that have meant a lot to you in your business. Maybe you've won an award, maybe you've appeared on Koshi, whatever those things are for you. You know, I got an article in New Ideas, so that was something that I obviously wanted to promote. This is just a really quick way for people to see what your big hits are. So think of it in terms of like U2's greatest hits type thing. That's the stuff that you want eyeballs on quickly when people are coming through your profile. Next one down, I'll come back and show you how you add to that. Next one down is your activity. So this kind of shows you how often you're posting, how you're interacting, all that type of thing. But the next area I really want you to focus on in terms of how to get biggest bang for your buck is your about section. When someone lands on your profile, before they click into that see more, all they're going to see is that first kind of couple of sentences. So when you're designing your profile, one of the things I would encourage you to do is think, if somebody doesn't click on that see more, what's the big thing I want them to know without reading anything else? So for me, I wrote my profile as if I'm reaching out to government departments, to chambers of commerce, to corporates that might want to bring me in to assist their small business community. So if you want to help upskill your small business community and conquer digital overwhelm, drop me a message. Here's my email and here's my phone number. You don't need to click anything more. You have my details. So if you want to reach out to me, I've made it really easy for you to do that in the first kind of 2 sentences. So that's the first thing I want you to think about, is how can you structure that if somebody doesn't click through anymore, they're going to get what they need without clicking anything further. But once you do, the protocol with LinkedIn now, and I'm not going to talk about job searching because it may be different, but if you're looking to use this profile to network, to build partnerships, to make sales, any of that type of thing, write your profile in the first person. So you'll see here, I work with local councils. This is who I work with. This is what I do. So the formula that we use that works really well is name, same, claim to fame. So who are you? What do you do that allows people to put you in a box? So for example, I'm an accountant, right? Even though you might specialize in small business tax or whatever. Name, Tracy Sheen. Same, I'm an accountant. So it lets people go, right, you sit there. Claim to fame. I've been working with small business tax planning for the last 50 years and I've won a bunch of awards with the ATO. Name, same, claim to fame. Then we want to think about, what are the observations that you've made around your industry? So this is really your opportunity to have that initial conversation with someone that you might at a coffee shop or at a networking event. So, hey, Susan, who do you work with? Susan would go, well, I work with anyone who needs to send weird and wonderful packages, around Australia or internationally and have complete peace of mind. Perfect. How do you do that? Well, we do that through a series of blah, blah, blah. So I'm now starting to have that dialogue with whoever's wanting to jump in and get to know me a little better. So again, I'm thinking of LinkedIn as my target market for this platform as being corporates and government departments. So you need to be really clear on who you're talking to. You couldn't split this between, say, I want to talk to small business owners and I want to talk to corporate, because the message is going to be very different. So think about who's that one industry that you really want to interact with on LinkedIn and do it well, and then write to that. So thinking about, who do you work with? What do you do? And then show a little bit about your expertise and why you do what you do. So, Australia's got 2.1 million small business owners. 63% of us are aged over 45. That's why I work with over 45s. Then I get into a little bit about the regional. So I'm saying why I'm different. I'm saying, I've been working with small business owners since 1990. I can be trusted. I've partnered with the federal government. I've designed over 400 workshops. I've authored a book. So I'm giving you credibility. And then I'm telling you again where you can reach out to me. And what do I want? I want you to, I want to partner with councils, with chambers, with communities. I want you to email me. So if you're looking to save time, increase leads. So I'm thinking through, what do I want them to do once they've had a read through the profile, and I want to make sure it's really easy for them to take action. Okay. And again, these little stars, I've written this up in Google Docs, and all I do is copy and paste into here anytime I want to change something over. So first person, make it really easy that if they don't click the see more, they can reach out to you straight away if that's what they want to do, but then start to go into detail with, you know, who do you work with? What's your claim to fame? Why? What have you found that's different in your industry? What's kind of interesting? What makes you different? And what do you want them to do? And again, if you read through mine, and by no means am I saying that, you know, mine's the perfect example, but if you read through mine, you will see spattered throughout there are keywords. Again, Google is going to use these types of keywords to help match people with my profile when they're searching for someone. So if someone's looking for a digital marketing trainer for small business or a technology trainer for small business, you know, I've got here, these are all keywords: local councils, chambers of commerce, business associations, state and federal government departments, small business, sales and technology, marketing, they're all keywords. So again, being very clear and thinking through, how do people find you? What are the words and the phrases they use to get to your services, and making sure that you're building those keywords and phrases in as you're writing your profile. I'm going to stop share for a second, and I'm going to check in with everyone. How's that? You know, what are you thinking about your about section? Have you got a section like that at the moment? Have you been using it like that? Anyone want to tell me how they've been using their profile?
I don't even have an about section.
Okay. Yep. And we see that a lot, Sarah, because most people, particularly if you're working for an organization, you kind of often said you've got to have a LinkedIn profile.
Yep. My boss may have told me that.
You go in, you set it up, and you do the bare minimum, and you get out.
Okay. Yeah. We don't want to do the bare minimum. So.
Can I just jump in for a second?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Sorry, I'm not on video because every time my video starts, it decides to like kill the call. So that's why you get a lovely logo instead. I did have a question. You might be hitting on this soon, but my LinkedIn, I have literally just put the about section. I haven't put the about section. I've just put a little like babysitting event service, that kind of thing at the top. Mm-hmm. What's your recommendations around the first articles and that kind of thing that you post? So I've got the company page I've set up. Mm-hmm. It's still basically a skeleton. Mm-hmm. And so is my personal profile. But how and what do you recommend as like the first sort of information you do as part of your first interactions on LinkedIn?
Yep. On your personal or on your company profile? Because it's probably different.
A little bit of both, actually, because, of course, your personal kind of links eventually to what your business does. I'm happy with feedback on both sides.
Okay. Nicole, are you comfortable if I bring your profile up and talk it through with everyone? Because it's probably really helpful for everyone.
Yeah, go for it. It's basically these skeletons, so yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, let's have a look. Okay, so first thing I would say, love your profile pic. Make sure that you've got like an email or a website or something that you want people to be able to reach out to you quickly. And given that I know you don't offer services everywhere, I would even make this a really binary choice for people. So babysitting and event services in Toowoomba, Darwin, you know, New South, wherever that is. So if I'm outside of your region, I know I can move on straight away. I'm not wasting your time by reaching out and saying, I'm looking for an event service in Echuca.
Yeah.
So that would be the first thing. So I like babysitting and event services, family care coordinator. I like the defense organization, so that's a keyword for you. That's good. Yep, so your headline's good. Okay, so your thing that I would concentrate on would be to build out your experience. So that's the next thing we're going to talk through, because you don't seem to have an about section yet. No. So definitely go in and build your about section out before you start posting, before you start sharing too much activity. The reason you want your profile built out before you start sharing a lot of activity is because you want to start positioning your profile as a go-to page, as somewhere that Google can use to push and promote to you. So if you post an article, or you write, an actual post, and I go and have a look at it, if that intrigues me, I'm going to jump on and look at your profile. And then if the rest of it isn't built out, you've lost me.
Yeah.
So build your profile out first, and then come in and build your content behind it. But you got to remember, with your content, and this is true of anyone, you're going to get sick of talking about what it is you do far quicker than anyone else. Okay, because I'm not seeing your stuff as often as you're posting about it. So it's almost like you need to develop that that routine of what you talk about. So I call it the 5 C's, or it's called the 5 C's. I didn't come up with it, but it's really clever. So it's create, which is where you create your content. So you've written it from scratch, you've videoed it, you've audio, whatever it is, it's yours. Curate means that you've found an article and you're sharing it with your network because you think that it's of interest to them. So for you, it might be, Defence Forces making some changes around payments for kiddies events or something. So you want to share that because it's relevant to your community. So create, curate, commentate is when I've found an article, but now I'm going to add my commentary to it. So, hey, Defence Forces just released this thing to say that they're changing the payment rates. I think they've missed this section, or it's really interesting. There's a loophole here that if you're running an event, you'll be able to get more money. I'm commentating on the article. So create, curate, commentate, celebrate is where I celebrate a client or a colleague or something. So congratulations to our Darwin Defence team who've just had a march out parade. Little Wonders were really pleased to be, associated with the event or something. So I'm celebrating a client and a win that they've had. And then the last one is commercialize. And that's where I'm actually going to say, buy my stuff. So that's about a 1 in 5 ratio. So did you know that we offer babysitting events for weddings or something? So it's a one-off compared to everything else that you're doing. So in terms of what content would you share, they would be the 5 that I'd be working through a rotation of. So create, curate, commentate, celebrate, and commercialize.
Awesome. Thank you.
Anyone else got anything on kind of that before we go back? I won't leave poor Nicole's profile up. I'll keep heading through mine. Just jump in if you got questions. So we've done the about. The next one is your experience. And this is the next in terms of priority of how Google will rank and how that helps your own visibility. Headline, number 1, get your headline, nail your headline. That's of utmost importance. Next one is your about section. And then after that is your experience. So you still want to be utilizing your keywords throughout each of the sections, but just know in terms of priority, that's kind of how it flows down the chain. Now, one of the interesting things that we can do, you can see here under the digital guide, that I've broken this up. I've broken my business up into the various sections that it actually does. Now, a lot of us as business owners have more than one product or service that we sell, yet we try and smoosh it all together. And that just confuses people that are looking at our profile because they may not want to access everything that we do. So within our experience, we can create an overarching banner, which is for me, the digital guide. But underneath the digital guide, I run the tech club. I'm a trainer. I'm an author. So I can break those down. And the reason that I would want to do that is because my keywords are going to be different. So what people are searching for when they're looking for me as a trainer is going to be very different than if they're looking, you know, for me to write some content or as an author to come and speak. So again, really important that we have clarity around what are our products and services, but what are people searching for when they're looking for us, and developing that content around those. The other reason you want to do it is because you get, I think it's, don't hold me to this, I'm going to say it's 2,000 characters per. It's definitely 2,000 characters for the about section. Kate, if you know, I'm happy for you to jump in. You get a whole other swathe of content that you can add in here about each section.
It's 2,600 characters.
There you go. Perfect. Love it when someone's all over it. So by building those out, it lets you get really, really specific. So if I'm interested in one particular product or service that Kate offers, maybe it's resume writing, I can really drill down and have a really, really good read of that without needing to understand what else her business offers, because it's not what I'm interested in. So really think about breaking down your experiences under each of the businesses. Now, the only time, oops, I clicked into something there. The only time that you will see, I've gone into my company profile now. So you'd see on the left-hand side where it said digital guide, I had that little logo. That means that I have a company page set up. So you'll see for some of them in my experiences, I don't. So here you go, unusual comms when I was with Aspas. So if you can see that little icon, it means that there's no company page set up. Means that there's a company page set up, and you can actually click on that and go straight to the company page, or you can scroll by. Now, previously, there wasn't a whole lot of reason to set up a company page other than to have that little logo. As business owners now, so who's doing this from a business owner point of view? Who's looking at LinkedIn from a business owner point of view as apart from an employee? So I know Kate does, Maddie, you are, Susan definitely is. So as a business owner, we just got Sarah joined us as well. As a business owner, one of the really neat things that you can do in a company page is set up events that will allow you to capture registration forms directly through LinkedIn. So if you try and get people's data, name and email, etc., off LinkedIn, it breaks the terms of service of using LinkedIn, and I have had clients lose their profile by exporting data. If you go in and create an event on your business page, when you're doing it, one of the things that you will see is, do I want to use a LinkedIn registration form? And that means I can sign up for your event directly on LinkedIn. I don't have to leave the platform and click to Zoom or anywhere else. And it will allow me to export that data directly from LinkedIn. And the neat thing is, if Jenny goes to sign up for my registration form, it'll say, do you just want to use your LinkedIn details? So it makes it really nice and easy to go, yes, and I've captured Jenny's details directly. I now have Jenny's permission to take her off LinkedIn and add her to my own database where I can promote that event. So really, really nice way and a really nice reason that you would use a company page as a business owner. So they're just really starting to find their legs. The analytics available in company pages on LinkedIn is rubbish, but really just starting to find their legs in terms of why you would use them. Jen, you've got a question? You can unmute, or I can just remove your hand.
I have a question, Tracy, if Jen doesn't.
Right?
Yeah, I was just wondering, with the data, when you capture someone's contact details, can you use that to promote other events? What permission do you have? Like, if you've got it off LinkedIn and they've registered for your event, can you then store them in another sort of CRM system and then keep contacting that person?
Yeah, great question. So if if they're based in Australia, yes. If they're based in Europe, no. So Europe has what's called the GDPR laws, which is a lot stricter privacy policy than what Australia does. But what you can do when it says use a LinkedIn registration form, you have to put a link to your privacy policy. So if your privacy policy that you utilize says we will be exporting your data into our CRM for future mail outs, then you've covered yourself.
Yeah, got that.
And you just need to make sure, of course, with any time you do that, please make sure that you have a very clear and easy way for people to unsubscribe. So if they decide that they don't want to keep going, they can easily get out of the system.
Yes, of course.
But
thank you.
That's one of the biggest reasons right now that you would have a company page as a solopreneur, as a small business owner. It's purely that reason. So in terms of, how often you post on a company page versus a private page, the optimum time, the optimum amount of posts on personal pages right now on LinkedIn seems to be about 3 times a week. And on on company pages, it's around 1 to 2 times a week. Now, if you've got something more to say, you can put more to that. But, if not, then around 3 times a week on your personal profile is plenty. All right. We are fast running out of time and there's so much more to cover. So let me, so Maddie's just saying, thank you so much. Yep, happy to do that. You also get a copy of the recording, Maddie, so you won't miss the last 5 minutes. So thank you for joining. Been lovely to see you. Okay, let us crack on. One of the things I really want to cover is the search functionality on LinkedIn, because this is really overlooked. And it's a great little tool to start using everything I'm showing you is just on the free version. Okay, so obviously if you pay, you get more functionality, but maximize what you're doing on the free version and then level up if you want to. How many people, just pop your hands up, or, physically or whatever you want to do, how many people actually have thought about using LinkedIn as a way to reach out to other people and, to find other people that they can maybe chat to about, running partnerships or doing business with, or sales conversations? So Kirsten, yeah, perfect. Okay, so you're going to love this. So in your little search functionality, you could type in a type of person that you want to reach out to. So let's say I want to make contact with marketing. So I can type in the word marketing and hit enter. And then what it's going to do is it's going to bring up a bunch of options across the top here. I want to go to all filters. And the first thing I want to do, I don't want to connect with first connection because it means I'm already connected with them. So I want to look at 2nd and 3rd degree connections. And I want to say, you might just want to reach out to people based in Toowoomba, so I can type in Toowoomba, Queensland, and just tick Toowoomba. And then I'm going to say, maybe I know what their industry is. Maybe I want them to be in higher education that I want to reach out to. And maybe the person that I want to reach out to is in, has a role of marketing, for example. So I might put in, so service consulting, maybe I tick marketing here. And then I just click on show results. And no results found because I said Toowoomba. So let's make this Queensland. Okay. And what this is doing is this is now giving me a list of everyone that hits those criteria that I've just searched for. So now I can go through. 2nd degree means we have a connection in common. 3rd degree means they're, twice separated. Now you can see anyone who has that little gold in symbol, they're paying for their account. Okay, so they're a paid user. So chances are they're going to be a bit more stringent around, connections and all that type of thing. But the next thing I would do would be just to right click and open these people up in a different tab. So I'm not losing where I'm at. And I'm just going to go and have a look at them. What's happened there?
It's wanting me to link. Here we go. Okay. So now I'm just going to have a read through and I'm going to see if Ryan actually hits what I'm looking to connect with. So business analyst at UQ. So if I look through this and go, okay, tick, they've posted recently on LinkedIn. So, you know, in the last kind of couple of weeks. So I'm looking for how regularly are they posting? I'm looking for, because I'm a user, have they got a cover and a profile pic? Are they based in Brisbane? Because that's somewhere I want to connect with. Are they of a type that could make a decision whether they want to work with me or not? And if that's the case, then I'm going to go back in. And at that point, I would send a connection request. Okay. Now, when you reach out to someone, and I'm logged into a private window, which is why it's doing this funny. So let me just open a new window and log into my account. So seconds. I'm just going to say Australia for this, and I'm going to hit see all. All right. So let's say I'm going to look at Amy. Okay, so Amy ticks all my boxes. She's got a cover photo, for example. She's got a headshot. She's got a headline. She's written out her about. She's posting regularly. So if I want to connect with Amy now and I'm on a desktop or a laptop, once I hit connect, I'm going to hit add a note. And at this point, this is best practice for LinkedIn. You always want to write why you're reaching out. Hey, Amy, we're both connected with Susan. She suggested I reach out and say good day. Or, hey, Amy, I've been following your post for a while. Really like the last thing you posted about blah. It'd be nice to connect. You know, just give them a reason to let them see that you've done a little bit of research before you've reached out. If you're connecting with them on your mobile phone, and you hit connect, it's just going to send a connection request without any detail behind it. So what you need to do is hit the 3 dots, and then there'll be a little thing that pops up that says personalize invite, and that would be where you would add something. But in terms of outreach, that little search function up the top here, that's gold. You know, you can use that to look under towns. You can look for it under companies, so you can search via a company, you can search via a geographical area, you can search via an industry type, you can search, you know, there's a whole lot of different ways that you can search and you know, kind of develop a little bit of an outreach policy of what you're going to do to reach out to people. I love the outreach tool. It's my favorite thing on LinkedIn. All right, we are kind of at time. Now, I'm mindful that we've done our hour. I know we kind of started a little late, so I'm happy to keep going. Let me just check in. What did you want to know from today's session that we haven't covered off? Because I'm not going to get through everything in the next few minutes that we have left. So is there anything in particular that you were like, I really wish I knew X before we hung up?
I'm not sure if you might have covered it, Tracy, but probably a little bit more on creating the business page and creating the event. It looked pretty straightforward, but I wasn't sure if I just wasn't paying attention at the time, but about actually creating the business page.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's look at that. So if you want to create a business page, you go into the little me icon, drop your arrow down. No, you don't. You go into work. Sorry, you go into the work and you scroll down and it says create a company page. And then it's quite literally follow the bouncing ball. So is it company page, tick, and then organization name. What's your company? So that's like your / Tracy Sheen. That'll be / the digital guide. What's your website? What industry you're in? How big is it? You upload your logo and it gives you all of the dimensions, so you can create all of that in Canva. What's your tagline? And then you've got a tick to say that you're verified to create the account on behalf of the organization. And that's literally all it is. So it's really nice and straightforward. Once you've created it, it lives under your little me icon. So if you arrow down,
it'll sit under manage, and then they all sit there. So then when you look at it, you'll come into your admin view, which is this view. So if you want to see what it looks like for me, dropping in and having a look at your page, you look view as a member, and that shows you. So you've got your cover shot, your profile pic, again, your headline, similar to what we did with our profile. You've got an about section, which you're thinking about the about of the business. And then you've got, you know, the other things that sit along underneath. So all of your events, any of the posts that you've written. Now, the one thing to bear in mind, and this is a real flaw that LinkedIn have identified, but they've not done anything about it, is I can attach myself to your business. So I could say I'm an employee of yours, and there's nothing.
That was my next question. Yeah.
So
can you have several people attached to one business page?
Yeah. So Francisco, he's actually my AV guy, so he does a lot of video editing and stuff for me, so I'm okay for him to be attached with me. But you'll often look at company profiles, particularly small businesses, and if I know them, I'm like, who the hell's that person? It's just that someone's trying to build their own LinkedIn profile out, or they might be trying to apply for a job, and they say they've worked for you for a period of time or whatever. There's nothing you can do about that.
You can't control that. Okay.
Yeah. And then similar to what we did with the create the profile, the creating an event is exactly the same. Like that kind of straightforward. It's just follow the bouncing ball. So when you're in your admin view where it says manage events, you just hit the plus and then you just go through everything. So there's your dimensions that you need for the cover image. Is it going to be online or in person? You know, is it an external link? So typically, you know, most of them happen through Zoom or an in-person or something. So it's an external link. What time zone is it occurring in? Start date, end time, a description of the event. And this is where you can load up any additional speakers. So if I was speaking at your event, you could tag me in that and it would link to my profile as well. And then next, and that's it. And then once you've created them, they sit looking like this. Which FYI is the next RDA DDSW webinar that we've got coming up on the 6th of October. So you can see there the event link. So that's where you go to register, cover photo, title of the event, time, date. You know, you've got an option to add it to your calendar, and then a bit of a description of the event. So really nice and straightforward, not dissimilar to loading up a Facebook event, to be honest, if you're familiar with how they're set up. Excellent. Any other questions? I'm happy to sit around if anyone wants to go. Sarah's got to go. Thank you for joining, Sarah. Appreciate you. Take care, mate. Anything else? Is there anything that we haven't covered that you're like, I want to know that? Or how are you feeling? Are you feeling like you kind of understand it a little bit more? I'd love to know what, Susan, you're nodding, what change or what kind of changes that you think you'd like to make on your profile now?
I've been fiddling while we've been chatting.
Love that. A doer. I love it. Awesome.
Now just to add more people is the next thing.
Yeah. So with your outreach, don't go crazy because that's a flag for LinkedIn. So I would be reaching out to, you know, a couple of people every day, you know, 2 to 5, no more. You don't want to give LinkedIn a reason to go, what's going on here? Why are you suddenly reaching out to 50 people a day and then nothing? So just a measured response.
Sure.
Excellent. Bronwyn, how are you feeling?
All right. I've been looking at my profile too as you've been talking to see what I've done wrong and what I haven't done wrong. And I don't know, it's all right, I guess.
It's all right, you guess? Would you like me to have a little look at it?
Oh, you're welcome to.
All right, let's do
What
that.
if we give everyone a laugh? It's Tuesday.
No, you're in a safe space. All right, let's have a crack. And I'm also mindful, folks, that we are at time. So If you need to leave, thank you so much for joining us and for your time. Is this you, Bronwyn?
Yeah, that's me.
Partnerships and grants. Okay, excellent. So cover shot, I would put some details about the business and the easiest way for people to reach out to you. Good cover photo, partnerships and grants. So do you work in a particular area?
Sugar Research Australia.
Okay, so is that like geographically linked, or is it industry linked, or is
Industry linked.
Okay, so I would maybe build your headline out a little more, specialising in partnerships and grants for
The
that
sugar
industry.
Yeah.
Because again, you want to try and make that pretty binary, right? So if I land on this and I go, ooh, partnerships and grants, like I'm interested in obtaining a grant. If I reach out to you, then you're going to go, you are such the wrong person for me. So again, we're trying to make it binary, that if I look at that and go, okay, well, you specialize in that industry, you're not my person, but good to know. About section, again, just think about, like, if I don't click on the see more, what is it that you really want me to know in those first couple of sentences?
Yeah.
So, you know, I specialize in the sugar industry, been doing it for 30 years. If you want to have a chat about how to get more partnerships and grants, here's my email. Bang. And then go into the more detail from there. So you can definitely build out your experience a little more now, but otherwise, yeah, I think it's like you've got good bones. You've got really good bones there.
Well, thank you for today, because I have learnt a lot.
Excellent. And I know it's a little bit like drinking from a fire hose. So, you know, you'll get the recording and go back through and have a bit of a think through. Okay, maybe. And don't do it all at once, because it's overwhelming. So, you know, log into Canva and knock out a cover photo and then leave it alone for a week and come back and do something else. Excellent. Lovely.
Thanks, Tracy.
Thank you, Jenny.
It's been a really informative session. I've been plugging away as you've been talking as well on my own profile. And yeah, I just like to invite everybody back for the 6th of October. We've got a 10:30 session on what Google wants from your website. So optimizing, you know, that Google search engine. So really keen to have everyone back, and we'll have another sesh in November as well on the U-Butte productivity tools. So yeah, please keep joining us each month.
Perfect. Thanks, Jenny. Make sure that you're following the DDSW Facebook and LinkedIn pages. That's where all the information goes. If you haven't signed up for their newsletter, they do amazing newsletters filled with a bunch of stuff, not just the awesome events they've got coming up. So make sure you've registered for those, and you will get a copy of the recording. So again, appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for spending the hour with us. Feel free to connect with me and let me know how you're going with LinkedIn, and I'll see you on the next webinar. Take care, everyone.
See you, Trace. Thank you.
Bye.